love to welcome all of you to a wonderful, wonderful celebration of Thanksgiving. The program is being presented by the Liberia Civic Association. Among other things they do, outside of feeding people on every Friday, the president is Basil Phillips. I'm a volunteer on Friday, and I'm sort of like volunteered to do this Mistress of Ceremony, which I don't have a problem with. So we have a little program for you. We have speakers that are sitting at this table. We have a selection by a special person, Sherry Green.
I would like to sing a song for you before we start dinner. Is that okay? God bless America, land of that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with the light from above.
Welcome, welcome, welcome to the Liberia Civic Association, and we would not be here if it was not for the Hollywood Rotary Club. So let's give them a round of applause. Service beyond finish it. There it is. Exactly. We want to welcome you here. We thought this was very important. The reason we're here is not necessarily to feed you, but to enhance your thought in terms of the next person that's standing next to you, that's someone that you should create a relationship with. The Liberia Civic Association believes the only time you should look down to someone is when you're helping them out. So our objective is to follow the next person and show that the vision that's taking place out there, okay, is pure politics, okay? It's to get attention and the vision, but we are here to say that by the time we leave here today, if we do this good, the next person is our friend. Because the only time you should look down on someone is exactly right. Now, also the speakers that we have very relevant to why we're here. We have an awesome commissioner that every time we create a program, and her objective is to make Broward an even a better place to live because she's running for a county commissioner. So please bear that in mind. And we also have individuals who, by example, they believe that the best sermon is a short sermon. That's why they're not going to be long. So let's start with the Rabbi, please, sir. Would you get up and introduce yourself?
Someone said I had it on my phone. Do we ever get arrested from our phones? My name is Ari Plost. I'm the senior rabbi of Temple Solel right here in Hollywood. And it's a blessing to be here among friends. Thank you. I was asked to speak and share little thoughts about the subject of unity. And last week I was standing in Publix and there was someone behind me and they were speaking Spanish. And someone in front of me was speaking Creole. And the person right next to me was FaceTiming in Hebrew. This is what it is to be in this community, to be amongst a sea of humanity, people from different backgrounds, but all sharing this place that we call home. And made me think this is what belonging is on the outside. What does belonging feel like on the inside? It means saying, I'm welcome here. I have a purpose here. I matter here. And I'm not alone. And that doesn't just happen automatically. Why? Because we all carry old experiences, disappointments, places where we felt let down or ignored. And we bring all sorts of different expectations, different ways of communicating, different ways that we seek resolution and comfort. And even if you put that all together, it's then natural that good people standing right in line can hesitate, hang back, and not necessarily feel like we fit in. Probably we've all felt that way. Belonging takes that extra effort. Belonging is about taking that extra measure of effort to say, come sit with us, or offering a helping hand. Maya Angelou wrote, "We are more alike, my friends, than we are unalike." In my tradition, on every Shabbat, we take a reading from Scripture, and we find ourselves this week in Genesis. And there's an aging father, I think some of us know him well, Isaac, and he has 2 sons. And these 2 sons are very different from each other. One is in the fields, and restless, and impulsive, and outdoorsy. And the other son, Jacob, is quiet, strategic, and forever aware of the fact that he's the second born. In all their lives, these 2 sons, they compare themselves to one another, and they circle each other. But they don't actually ever really have that sense of companionship, of kinship. And so, when their elderly father wants to place a blessing upon them, what do? They act out of their old wounds, their fears, everything that's distanced themselves. And this is what happens so too in our lives, in our real families, and even in our larger families of our community. When we don't make the extra effort to help people, to help each other, feel a sense of belonging. Belonging is finding a way through those imperfect moments. These questions that we feel today, and the sense of separation we sometimes feel, this isn't new. This is as ancient as the Bible. And that's why it's so important that we have what we have here, community. Because we share schools where our kids all learn together. We share grocery stores where we all are nourished together. We share hospitals where we're all cared for together. And playgrounds where we all play together. We all, at the end of the day, have similar hopes and dreams. My tradition teaches that you're to love the stranger, for you are strangers. And I believe many of us in this room share another teaching. We are many parts but one body. And so, on this Thanksgiving, let's take that extra measure of purpose for churches and synagogues and mosques to feel that sense of belonging, so that when a teacher pulls an only child into a group, or when someone says in a meeting, I disagree, but I'll stay in that conversation, we learn that being present, being kind, being willing to stay connected is what makes a sense of belonging. So on this Thanksgiving, it's a holiday not of perfection, although we all hope that we have a perfect turkey. It's a holiday of us who are imperfect people choosing to belong together. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Terry Danger. I was pastor at St. John's Lutheran Church here in Hollywood, which is right behind the most famous building of Hollywood, Stratford's. Any of you old enough to remember Guy Roper? He was my best friend, except for one thing. If he caught me coming out of the back of church, I would have to stand quietly while he talked to me for 25 minutes. He was a great guy. I've been here for a long, long time. I've been a pastor for over 52 years. I am a pastor emeritus, which means I don't have anything to do, but I got a great title. I thought seriously about this. There's all sorts of things when we talk about unity. In this particular day and age is unbelievably bad. I'm retired now, so I can say some things about the wretchedness of the things that are being said out there, especially to people who are veterans. And I wanted to just go a long ways back. 1974. In a little hole in the ground with one of the guys with our clips of ammo stretched around that. And it's dark, and it's cold, and it's wet, and it's hot, and there's all sorts of noises out there, and you don't know what the hell that is. Do you worry who that guy next to you is, if he's Jewish, or even Presbyterian? Muslim? No, all you care about your buddy in that hole is, one, will they stay awake and can they shoot?
All right.
Because your life depends on your brother who's in combat with you. There ain't no time for the kind of crap that we're hearing today from people. We have people of every denomination, shape, and size, and now we have women in combat too that we didn't back then. Those were people we were united with, and we still are. And when some of our veterans say we made an allegiance to the Constitution of the United States, remember, you stand up when you're sworn in. What did we all stand in line to do? To swear allegiance to that Constitution. I hope we can all remember that, because together, as the people of this country, we are devoted to making sure that we don't push anybody aside for some egomaniac's ideas.
Say it.
So my name is Christine Guadalupe. I'm the store manager at TD Bank on the Hollywood and 441 location. So at TD, we strive to be unexpectedly human. So what does that mean? So that means getting to know our community, our neighbors, and our clients. So as we enter this holiday season, TD's Bank is proud to continue supporting the communities we serve. This time of year reminds us of the importance of connection, kindness, and giving back. Whether it's through volunteering, financial education, or local partnerships with nonprofits, we remain committed to helping our neighborhoods thrive. We also would like to extend a heartfelt thank you to the Liberia Civic Association for their continued partnership. Your dedication to strengthening our community makes a difference, and we are honored to work alongside them. Thank you.
I'm going to tell you a story that you don't even know that you had a part in playing. About 20 years ago, when I first came to Hollywood, a rock star kind of read our mail. His name was Bono, and he said to churches that you need to do something about the AIDS crisis. And we decided we wanted to do something, but we didn't know what to do. But God already had a plan. One of our neighbors, who was part of our church, named Alicia Perkins, talked to her neighbor, Mike Stalker, and they learned that Mike had just come back. He was a journalist for the Sun Sentinel from a trip to Haiti, where they were dealing with AIDS orphans and talking about it. And Mike was so moved by what happened, he told his daughter about it, and she made helping those orphans her mitzvah project at their synagogue. And along around the same time, she told me that story. I said, well, that's interesting. I wonder who was involved in that. And then someone else in my church said, well, there's this guy in town. He's in his early 20s, and he lives in a homeless shelter. And he's helping orphans in Haiti. I said, where does he go to church? He said, he doesn't go to church. He's spiritual. I said, I don't know about that. And he lives in a homeless shelter? But then, I met Aaron Jackson. I learned he was part of that story in the Sun Sentinel. And then I went to lunch with the rabbi of Mike's Temple Bethel. And I wasn't yet used to how things work in South Florida. That it rains a lot here. I couldn't find the entrance to the temple. By the time I got there, I was completely soaked. He had to give me like a Holocaust Remembrance t-shirt to wear. And I went in it, still not that well dressed to this day. And that began a friendship. A man who's become one of my dearest friends. But more than that, it began a partnership. A partnership with Aaron Jackson, with Alan Tufts, with Aaron's partner in Haiti, a Pentecostal preacher named John Dubon. And together we started a small orphanage there that together we supported for 20 years, an organization called Hollywood Cares. And honestly, we realized, strange as it sounds, that if we hadn't done that those 15 kids that are now graduating from college and going out into the world, they wouldn't even be alive. But you know, to do that, God had to bring together a guy living in a homeless shelter who was spiritual, a rabbi, a Presbyterian preacher, and a Pentecostal preacher from Haiti. It's almost like the beginning of a bad joke. And yet it was no joke. It was an opportunity for people to come together from different places, from different backgrounds, to make a difference in the world, just like we're doing right here. And you see, how you're involved in that story is if you ever pay taxes to the United States government, you help save those lives. Because you see, along around that time, one of our presidents, together with people in Washington coming together, imagine that, created a program called President's Emergency Plan for AIDS Relief. And that program provided all the medications for the kids that we cared for. Medications that we could never have afforded. And that means whenever you wrote that check to the U.S. government, whenever that time came, a bit of what you gave went to save those children's lives. In fact, the lives of millions of people around the world. And so, on this day that we give thanks, let us remember that what happens when we come together to solve problems, to serve the world, to serve others in need, that there's no telling what God can do. Save the lives of others, bless our lives with friendships and partnerships that will live in our hearts forever. So thank you for being here, and thank you for living out what community is all about. And thank you to Basil, who leads us all in that.
John, as far as John. So it was not French Regina, for those who like to correct my name. Yes, no, not you. Funny joke real quick as we begin to open up. I was graduating from Florida Memorial University, and while on graduation, I told our French teacher not to pronounce my name John. Now, there was about 3,500 individuals in the room. My mother was standing on the stairs. I said, I warned him, please don't say that. And he got up with much confidence, as many would do, and said, Jock Wright. And out of nowhere, one voice resounded louder than the mic. That is not his name. Some of the words of that Jerry, who constantly corrects the child's spelling. And I dare say, I think I was the first person in the United States with the pronunciation of a particular name. And so as we look further in terms of the understanding of history, unity, I'm reminded of my late godfather, the great Reverend Dr. King Carter, who constantly helped us to understand the greatest sin that America could commit, which was not coming to a place of giving everybody their just due and treating everybody as equal partners in this thing we call yet to be United States. I know that many of us like to go along and get along, and we like to talk about the good things to make us smile. The truth of the matter is Unless we come to the place of conscious understanding that everybody is going to be treated better than 3/5 of a person, we will never come to a place of walking together. And so, I'll close with this term. Ubuntu is the term that I'm reminded of from the southwestern hemisphere of Africa that says, I am because you are, and we are because Christ is. God bless you.
Thank you for having me. As mentioned, my name is Whitney Larmond. I am from OIC of South Florida. Anybody heard of OIC? Oh, good. Okay, so most people know a little bit about us. So OIC of South Florida, we are a training and workforce development organization. So our mission, or the heart of what we do, is really to help individuals get some type of training to upskill themselves, right? So we're all about trying to get people into either new careers or help them get certifications for the work experience that they already have, right? So they can get that credit and they can be more marketable within the workforce. So we are looking to partner with you guys. Anybody in the room who know of individuals? Hey, how are you? Oh, you're actually going to OIC right now. So we got a student in the building. Hey, excellent. So if you know of anybody who is interested in getting, these are really short-term certifications. So they last like a month all the way to the longest one is about 24 weeks. So again, it's helping them really fast track, I would like to say, into the industry at an entry-level position. So we are looking for individuals who have an interest in construction, with pathways into carpentry, electrical, we got fiber optics, we have warehouse logistics, food service, as well as customer service. So if you know of any individuals, we would love for you guys to refer them to our organization, especially again for those who have a background. We work a lot with, we call them second chance, returning citizens or just as impacted folks, to really help them, integrate a little bit better into society, right? So they can, get employment. So I'll be here. So if you have any questions, you can always come up to me. I'm happy to answer anything, and I'm happy to be here.
This is an event that we cherish every year because Thanksgiving, it lets you know how much thanks have you given to your loved ones, to your friends. I'm still reminded of my grandmother. She was the one that did not hesitate to give us mass, to help the needy, not the greedy. But she was saying, I always say that the organization the Liberia Civic Association, ran by David Phillips. He's always making ways in which to get the communities, because he works all the areas. All the Liberia Civic Association, I tell you, one of the things here is I just enjoy the opportunity to say you better do that on your back. We started this association. I never thought it would be still something like this. We started this back in the 80s. Still helping people. I mean, we had a mission. Like a lot of friends and loved ones. Only if I can get to know everything is so happy to see the work. Just David Phillips, Dr. Phillips, has made it possible. And all of you here, he did not do it by himself. All of you here is giving him the support that he needs in order to make this happen. I just want to say to all of you, thank you, thank you,
It's a casual Jamaican eatery offering classics like oxtail, curry chicken, and stewed meats. What you talking about? Here he goes. This is for Cedric Mitchell. This is the Liberia Civic Association Community Humanitarian Business Award, presented to Cedric Mitchell of Oak Cafe Farmers Market Restaurant, honoring your generosity, honoring your compassion, and honoring your commitment to serving the community. From the Liberia Civic Association, November 21st, 2025.
I want to say thank you all very much. I am so happy to be here. I believe that's a real privilege and honor, and everyone in here is my friend. Hello, everybody. I want you guys to know, I just want to rectify something. We do Caribbean, we do soul food, we do vegan, we do Italiano, and we do a lot of kosher. Shalom. So we actually did the museum, the Holocaust Museum. We did something there for when they had the uniting of the black community and the Jewish. So we did that with Rabbi Shavuot and some other folk. But we're here for our people, our community. Amen? It is a pleasure. My wife's not here. I'm going to be on my way to the doctor right now, but I hope you guys enjoy, and feel free to give us a call if you need us, okay? Thank you.
So the good news is that I think I might be one of the last speakers. The bad news is Basil told me 12 minutes. And you know, when you come to a Basil event, you gotta work for your supper. You gotta work for your supper here. So I just want to say good afternoon. I hope all of you are having a very wonderful time here with the Liberia Civic Association. And also, we can't forget our host, the Rotary of Hollywood. So, you know, the Liberia Civic Association is a unique civic association. They just have just a huge heart. They are always serving the community. And Basil, I just want to thank you so much for having me today. My name, as was said, is Carol Shubian. I am a Hollywood City Commissioner. I am currently running to be your county commissioner. And also a very proud member of the Liberia Civic Association and of the amazing Hollywood Rotary Club. So today, Basil asked me to deviate a little bit from you guys. It wasn't about unity. It was, what does service over self mean to me? Now, service over self happens to be one of our mantras here at the Rotary Club. The Rotary, as with the Liberia Civic Association, is very much focused on volunteerism and providing support to those in our community who need it. So when Basil asked me to write about this, I thought to myself, service over self. I mean, that sounds kind of like I'm depleting myself. I'm giving up me to do stuff for others. And I was like, but that's not what it feels like to me. It doesn't feel like a sacrifice to put other people first. Even though you're giving of your time, your energy, and you're caring for others, but what I want to share with you is that surprisingly, community service does not diminish us. It actually enlarges us. And what begins as an act of giving can actually become one of the most profound sources of personal fulfillment. So volunteering can create a chance to step outside of the tight circle of your own life where you're worrying about just your own concerns. And it gives you a chance to think about somebody besides yourself. And as I think it was Terry was saying, like, we get so wrapped up in the news and everything's so anxiety-provoking. Volunteering can actually give you an opportunity to take a deep breath and realize that the world not only affects us, but it affects all of the people around us. So as our perspective widens, our own problems begin to feel much more manageable, and our blessings feel much more obvious. Service is a way of recalibrating your heart, and the fulfillment goes way deeper than that, than just perspective. Service, and we see it here today, creates connection, whether we're mentoring a student, comforting a neighbor, volunteering for a cause. Every act of service forces us to interact with someone else in a meaningful way. Humans are wired for personal connection, and service is one of the purest forms. We feel a sense of belonging, not because someone is giving to us, but because we are giving of ourselves. And service also reveals our purpose. People spend years searching for what makes their life meaningful. Sorry, it was 12 minutes. Whether it's chasing accomplishments or titles or recognition, but the moments that people remember most are not when they accomplish something on their own, but it's the ones that shape their identity, the ones when they make someone else's day a little bit better, right? And helping others gives us a reason to stretch, to grow, to become more capable and compassionate than we were before. And service gives us a reason to be our very best selves. And perhaps the most unexpected reward, volunteering and service create joy. Not a fleeting joy that comes from buying something new, but a deep and steady joy that comes from knowing that you matter, that your presence in the world is actually making a difference. And service above self asks something of each of us. It asks for our time, our empathy, sometimes a lot of patience. But it gives back to us purpose, connection, and community. I have always tried to include some volunteering back into my life, whether it's working in PTA or with schools, whatever, over all these years. And you can tell it's a lot of years because I'm the only one here using paper, not my iPhone. But back in 2017, my husband and I had been living in Hollywood for a few years, and I was looking for something that would be meaningful to me. We live close to the beach, and the Hollywood beach had been depleted over the years of dunes. And so I thought, here's something that would be interesting for me. I'll see if I can help with the city dune project. Everybody knows what dunes are, grassy knolls that help keep our sand on the beach and help keep our water away from our houses. So I did that, and it was great. It was very interesting, and it filled my desire at the time to help a little bit. But what happened after that could never have been predicted and would never have happened unless I volunteered. Eventually, it led to my becoming a Hollywood City Commissioner. Completely unexpected. I hadn't run for office since I was in high school and ran for student council. I never expected to get involved in politics at my age, my long career as an attorney, and it wouldn't have happened but for that Dune project. I got to meet some remarkable people in Hollywood and in Broward County, including the Broward County Chief Resiliency Officer. Her name is Dr. Gerardo, and if you ever have the chance to hear her speak, I highly recommend it. Through her, I learned the perils of sea level rise, climate change, and the flooding concerns that all of us that live in Hollywood are seeing today. So serving on the City Commission, it was very intimidating at first. The agenda packets that you get to prepare for the commission meetings were very thick, the meetings were very long, the issues were very complicated, and I wondered more than once, what the heck have I gotten myself into? But little by little, the impact that City Commission makes began to reveal itself to me. Big issues, like figuring out how we're going to help our residents avoid their homes from flooding. But small things too, like fixing worn out playgrounds. And you had mentioned playing together, I think, Terry, right? They're not big things, they don't typically make the news. But when you drive by a restored play area and suddenly it becomes reborn with kids climbing and laughing and parents sitting on benches that weren't there before, or like the spectacular MLK mural that we can now all enjoy at our MLK Center, brought to you by your former Commissioner, Linda Anderson. Thinking of you, Linda. When I see things like that, I'm reminded about why we're doing what we're doing. And all of us, when we volunteer that way, we become part of a story that we didn't even fully witness, but that we helped to make possible. So when we serve, we see life not only through our own eyes, but through the eyes of those we're trying to help. We learn what our neighbor needs, we learn what our community values, and what challenges people are quietly carrying. And that broader perspective makes each of us more empathetic and more grateful for the blessings that we have in our own life. Once a month, I deliver groceries to several households in need, including those of Holocaust survivors. It very much helps me and informs me as an elected commissioner when I see firsthand those kinds of desperate needs in our community. I often underestimate how much I need other people, but volunteering pulls us into relationships that are grounded in purpose, not just convenience. And the connections that I build with people when I'm volunteering, they have served me so well being a city commissioner and hopefully a county commissioner, because they've created some of the most meaningful relationships in my entire life. And this is the last page. Purpose isn't something that we find, it's something that we have to really practice. When we serve, we feel that our actions matter. We see impact of our time, our effort, and our presence. And that feeling that what we do makes a difference is really profoundly fulfilling. Community service forces me to practice patience, humility, communication, and probably most importantly, collaboration. It stretches each of us to be a better version of ourselves and to enrich ourselves. It generates a satisfaction that contributes to something much bigger and serves to remind me that my value is not based on what I have, but instead on what I can give. And looking back, I never imagined that that simple dune project would lead me to serve as a city commissioner, and never expected that serving on a commission would feel so personally rewarding. So, give a little time, receive a real sense of purpose. Give a little effort, receive a community. Give some care, and receive connection, growth, and fulfillment. It's true. Service above self is not about losing yourself, it's about discovering who you can become. And I'm going to end with one of my very favorite quotes. It's by a Dr. Syed Muhammad Zihan Hussein. Volunteering is the ultimate exercise of democracy. You vote in an election once a year maybe, but when you volunteer, you vote every single day about the kind of community that you want to live in. So thank you so much. Make sure you're each registered to vote. Have a beautiful Thanksgiving, and thank you again, Liberia City Association.
Together to make a difference. I thank you for all the folks who each Friday make such a difference right across the street in that parking lot. Thank you for the food we're about to eat. We're all really hungry. So we're just going to bring it to you, God, and say, thanks, God. And everybody agree together.